Welcome back to another video. Today we are in the Open Ultra League, and today we're going to be running a Pidgeot Registeel and Virizion squad. Here we go in the first matchup, really fantastically, expecting them to switch out here. They end up switching out into the Weezing. This Weezing can know a variety of moves. Looks like they're going to fire off their first move here. That ends up being the Overheat. Even though the Overheat is super effective and one of its biggest charge moves, you can see that because it doesn't have the same type TACA bonus, it just didn't do quite enough to take out the Reggie. So because it's already significantly debuffed, even if they go for another Overheat, we know that we would be able to survive. Here, this is probably a Brutal Swing, ends up being the Brutal Swing, and we barely survive because it debuffed itself twice already. Go for the Zap Cannon here just to grab a shield, and it looks like our opponent switched out into their Scrafty. So they're not only losing a shield, but they're switch locked. We have a Virizion here that we can take out with our we have a Scrafty here that we can take out with our Virizion. And then we're gonna see what we can face in the back here. Here they're just throwing a bunch of power-ups. We know that we can potentially just farm down at this point. This next power-up is not going to be enough, even though it was pretty much boosted. We barely survived, and then we're just going to go for the Leaf Blade here just to do some damage. And then we find out that it is the Jellicent in the back. The Jellicent in the back will be able to be handled by this Pidgeot because it's resisting the Hex fast moves from the Jellicent, and plus we have a bunch of Feather Dance here that we can just debuff it even more so. So here we're just gonna play the Feather Dance game where we just try to debuff them a whole bunch, and we're basically forcing them to switch out at some point to try to catch a move. So we're trying to be very wary of that, and we're just gonna continue debuffing. Look how much damage these Surfs are doing now. Almost nothing, and there's the switch out, forcing them to switch out, and we know that they were going to do that eventually, and we just farm it down. So GG's to our opponent right there. On to the next. The Virizion, even though it didn't take out the Weezing, it did get it low enough to where we didn't have to worry about throwing a move at that Weezing. As you can see, it was so low that we were able to just farm it down, which was key. And if you want to use the Registeel as like a shield breaker, that's also another way to think about it. So you can see here, this matchup here is semi-neutral. They can be throwing any variety of moves. Once again, it could be the Overheat, it could be the Play Rough, it could be the Brutal Swing. So we're going to invest the shield on the first one, and then now we're just going to be throwing Feather Dances, and then we force them out to switch out into an Ultra League Double. Very interesting pick here. Unfortunate for them, we have the hard counter to this double. But you can kind of see how that makes sense with their core right now. They have that Weezing paired with this double, only weak to fighting. So far they've revealed that they have that core. Here we're just going to tank the next Body Slam because we were paying attention to how much damage this Body Slam was doing to us. So we just maintain alignment, and once again, this Virizion is faced with another Weezing. We're going to throw a Leaf Blade here, and then we actually have enough energy for another Leaf Blade, so we throw that just for chip damage purposes. Here, we're just going to come back in with the Pidgeot, because not only do we know that they reveal that they have Overheat, but we know that they're probably going to switch out eventually, and that's exactly what they do. So they actually come in with the Ultra League Greninja, the new and improved Greninja. Super spammy and a big core breaker. Reggie is one of the ones where you can get some shields out. So we're going to be able to throw this Focus Blast to get this first shield. And they're just saving their Greninja for as long as possible here. Here they end up going for the double Hydro Cannons, which forces us to shield. We throw this Focus Blast as fast as possible. It should be enough to take it out. Perfect. And then now we're just going to switch back into our Pidgeot as soon as possible because we do not want them to gain any extra farm advantage. And basically, we're just forcing out some energy here. Even though we debuffed them here, they couldn't farm us down, and they had to throw moves. So GG's to our opponent right there. Running kind of a spicy team, to be honest. So they had the Weezing, Double and Greninja right there. Very, very interesting team. Kind of double weak to fighters in the back. Yep. So I guess that's another reason why they switched out in the front. So next game here, we are faced with Pidgeot versus this Giratina. Let's see if they're running the Dragon Breath or the Shadow Claw. Looks like they're bringing Shadow Claw. We are able to resist these fast moves from this Ultra Giratina, so we don't have to shield this first one. Even if they were potentially going to throw an Ancient Power, we wait until they reveal it. Looks like they do not have the Ancient Power, so we're just going to be throwing, for now, a bunch of Feather Dances to not only lower their Dragon Claws, but now for sure the Shadow Claws are doing probably 1 damage at this point. Okay, so we got them double debuff. As of right now, it doesn't look like they're trying to shield anything. They're probably just trying to sacrifice this Giratina at this point. Now that this Dragon Claw is coming in, that's probably only doing like 5% damage at this point, we're going to decide to just go for the Brave Bird here and basically take it out. And then we actually are met with a Shadow Charizard in the back. This Shadow Charizard could be a problem, but we are lucky enough to get to another move. We're going to go for the Regis here, and then they immediately switch out, and we have the counter to their switch out as well. So lucky that our Pidgeot did farm up just a tad of energy for that Shadow Charizard that came back in to not only get the shield, but also to debuff it enough to where it forced them to switch out again. I think with that debuff, that Shadow Charizard wouldn't have been able to beat that Reggie. So we just played it pretty well right there. Let's see what we see in the next game here. Once again, we have another great lead. They're going to immediately switch out into the Drapion. This Drapion is spammy as well, but luckily for us, we can tank several of these charge moves. First Crunch goes through, doesn't KO, which is good for us. We go for the Zap Cannon here to potentially get a debuff. We're going to need 2 charge moves anyways, and we do get the debuff, so the debuffs have been on our side, both on offense and defense. So once again, that Crunch coming in from this Drapion does not debuff us, so we are able to get to another move here and threaten a shield or KO. This time we just go to the Focus Blast because that's pretty much all we need. They come back in with the Virizion. Here we're just going to throw this Focus Blast as soon as possible. It does probably like 50%. Yeah, roughly 50%. So huge chunk of damage right there at the cost of them farming us down. Great farm down by them. But we also have a Virizion. We know that we can tank all the moves that they can throw us. They actually go for the Stone Airs anticipating the Pidgeot. So that was a little bit of a quick pick in just to get them to make a quick reaction. And they know that it's GG's because even if they take us out with the stun tank, we're going to probably farm it down, and then we can take out that Virizion in the back with our Pidgeot. So GG's to our opponent right there. Looks like they were having a Virizion double poison in the back, or I guess a fighter and a double poison. The team makes sense. It makes sense. Last game here, let's see if we can end off on a really good note. Here we have the Cresselia versus Pidgeot. Let's see if they end up staying in. Okay. This is kind of a neutral matchup depending on who can call shields, who can call baits or whatever. First one we're going to do is go for this Feather Dance. We don't know what they're going to have, so they actually reveal that they have Future Sight. So that tells us that they're probably just going to go for Future Sights, and they're probably running Future Sight and Grass Knot. Here we go for another debuff here. Even though that we did debuff them once, these Future Sights would add up, unfortunately. We're going to be able to throw this next Feather Dance here to basically triple debuff them at this point. At this point, we're thinking about taking this move. Even though it was triple debuff, that thing did about 15%, so pretty impressive if you ask me. So here we just go for the Brave Bird because it looks like they're just trying to sacrifice it, and they actually end up coming in with the Talonflame, the worst thing we can see in the backline. So unless they just don't shield at some point, this is an automatic loss here. They just were banking that their Talonflame in the back would work out for them. That's just gonna be the game. If they shield here, we might have a chance. So perfect right there. We're gonna shield here, and we're gonna see if we can sneak in a Zap Cannon, I think. If the Zacian goes through, we have a chance, but who knows at this point. They probably know that this Talonflame can just farm down, and it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. So GG's to our opponent right there. Nothing we can do. Let us know what you think about this team, and hope you enjoyed the video.